We're still waiting to see if anything else wants to get out of line, but for the most part, the strongest weather has been north, where we've had the front that kind of slid through last week, stalled out yesterday. It had rain over Orlando yesterday. It lifted north and translated the energy north, and that's why we've had the weather in our northern zones today. So we've been watching. This is an outflow boundary right there, just a gust of wind headed south. We'll see if we want to generate any additional. Looks like there's a little sea breeze, either that or that's traffic on 95. It's picking up either way. There you can see these storms. We may get a little bit more development in this area south near Titusville, but the only real threatening cell I have is going to be moving into the extreme northern extent of Brevard County, moving offshore into the Atlantic waters, and they'll replace that tornado warning with just a special marine advisory. But still watching that little cell there. That is a pretty nasty guy, and I'm glad that it's getting into very, very rural areas and moving offshore, because we had some pretty good indicators earlier today that we had a tornado on the ground earlier on up around Putnam County and then toward Flagler County. We can see in this area a little bit of green and red, so we're kind of getting a little bit of wind shear with this. Nothing to the south, but up here to the north, right along the coastal waterway. So we're going to continue to monitor this cell here in the extreme eastern parts of Volusia County. We're still watching this cell. It looks like it's weakened. We'll put our velocity scope, George, on that cell that just passed east of the St. Johns River and see. We'll widen, make that scope a little bit bigger for me there, and let's see if we can find anything inside. They may have reconfigured.
Tom, we have that picture of the hail that you wanted.
Oh yeah, let me show you
guys
this hail.
Pop that up.
Yeah, that is, boy, look at that. That is some large hail, and I believe that was probably coming in from the Stanford area. That's exactly how to do it. Put yourself a quarter in there, or however large it is, so we can see. Let me know, producer, if they gave a locator on that.
I think that's near Sanford, both near Sanford.
Yeah,
so.
it was the whole area. Lake Mary, Sanford, lots of hail.
And not to cut you off, Tom, but the tornado warning itself goes until, it's still going to continue until 5:15, most likely expiring after that.
We just had an update that will continue until 5:15. That's the next 9 minutes. We have 9 more minutes of a tornado warning, and that's because this thunderstorm near Scottsmore.
Yeah.
This is the big game in town now. We've seen this intensify. Tom, you've pointed out as this thing intensified, took over, and there it is. There's the warning now, shrunk in size.
Yeah, we're very happy that this is now moving into very, very rural areas. We can switch back. Let's go back to our live mode here, because this is going to give us the minute-by-minute position of exactly where this cell is. And you can see the lightning core now offshore. So that's going to be the updraft kind of tilting a little bit and offshore. But that is still really intense thunderstorm as our live sweep comes around here. And these storms are moving fairly quickly, so we get kind of the latest position as the live sweep, 1 million watts sweeping through right now, and you can see it pretty much moving over the intercoastal waterways. So this is going to be pushing offshore.
Lightning core right there.
Yeah, 164 strikes in the last 15 to 20 minutes or so. So that big boy continues to move on by. We'll back up here to the west a little bit. Let's keep our eyes. Still have a little bit of lightning activity in this cell that is northwest of Scottsmore. We'll keep tabs on that. It doesn't appear to be as threatening as its bigger self there along the coast. Still watching some rain near Geneva and getting a little bit of outflow rain development right now. Maitland, Winter Park, up toward the Castleberry area in Oviedo. This is outside the warning area. We don't have a watch. So we're kind of watching the last bit of this energy move offshore and just kind of wait and see if we can develop anything else farther down here to the south. But right now, this is pretty much, as we say, the only game in town is that cell right there that is still continuing to move offshore. So, Brian, you've been following social media, Twitter and Facebook.
Yeah.
A lot of folks giving us a lot of reports today.
Yeah, no reports of confirmed tornadoes. George and I were just talking about that. I was just scanning over my Facebook page and Twitter, but these cells here that move by, we did deal with lots of hail, mainly the quarter size like what we saw. So we are seeing those reports kind of panning out, more of a hail event. We don't have any confirmation of tornadoes. There are plenty of photoshopped pics going around, especially by the Speedway. Makes sense. People want to take advantage of hundreds of thousands of people up there. Those appear to be almost all fake. So we don't have any reports of tornadoes. You're going to see a ton of stuff out there on social media. Now, this warning goes for just another 6 minutes. This is the warning now off to the east of Scottsmore. It is about to push offshore. That is going to expire this warning. There's still rotation in it, though, so if I could see here.
It's a TVS there, Brian. Got a little
yeah, exactly. Hence the rotation we're dealing with. So we're still watching out for this. It hasn't quite moved off yet, so that's why the warning is still there. And you can see a little bit of a couplet, kind of a difference in the colors here, the green and the red showing the rotation right here. But man, that is right on top of the coast, and that is just about to punch offshore. Once that does back to the west, we're not seeing any signs of rotation. Plus, the storms back to the west have been settling some, so we're not dealing with as much in the way of rotation. And you can see here again, just about pulling offshore, about to jump across, and get the heck out of here. But that is the last sign of rotation we're seeing, at least as of right now. Tom?
Yeah, Brian, they're drying the track vigorously up in Daytona. Go and give me a medium shot, if you would, George, of Volusia County.
Got the shot up for you, too.
You know, they have a couple of different ways they dry the track. If you've never been to a race, they usually have a blower. It's a jet engine, essentially just blows the water sideways, but they have a new jet dryer that is kind of like a long curling iron, if you will, only it's all jet fueled. It's Daytona, and it will suck that water and dry it up very, very quickly. But there you can see they've red flagged the race. Some hardy fans are still hunkering down as the rain begins to finally depart from Daytona, but they're trying to get things. Of course, they have lights. They can run as late as they need to, and I'm just kind of scanning the radar. Looks like we're going to keep the worst of the stuff moving offshore. George, you've been following that cell along the coast in Volusia County as they get ready to go back to green flag racing here, hopefully in the next hour or so.
Yeah, but there's still more scattered rain developing to the west of Daytona, so this is troubling for those of you who want that race to start. These things just keep popping up here near De Leon Springs, DeLand Municipal, and just south of Bunnell there. But you know what, Tom? I mean, we were fine, and then all of a sudden the first thunderstorm popped right around 1:30, and then...
Yeah, it was right over the Pearson area. It's a real tight velocity couplet, as we call it. The winds were rubbing against each other. This moved right through just north of the Speedway, but they had some really nasty thunderstorms that moved on by. Now, there's still shower activity back here. There's a little bit more back here to the west, but I do think we're going to get this out in probably another hour, hour and a half. And it looks like they will eventually, say, give it an hour and a half, 2 hours, maybe?
Yeah, and it has to be totally dry. If you're not a race fan, it has to be totally dry.
These are smooth tires. They don't have radial tires in NASCAR. As you can see down here towards Scottsmore, that little hail, that rotator icon, that's good. I like to see it offshore and moving away. So that particular cell right there along, this is all NASA property. That little strip right there is the shuttle landing strip. They use it also for other tasks, but that's where the space shuttle would come in for its landing. And you can see this little kind of a boot sticking out right there. That's rotational energy, and it's moving toward and just north of Merritt Island and moving offshore. Again, we want you to send us your pictures if you have some hail pictures that you've shot from hail that's fallen across Seminole County. Social media, hashtag StormTrack9. So that cell pretty much now moving offshore. I'm going to give it about another minute or so here.
Let's run our live radar real quick.
Let's put live radar and see exactly how close the is just moving offshore. But that could definitely be producing a tornadic waterspout right now over the intercoastal. And let's zoom out just a little bit and see where we are in relation to northern Brevard County. That little cell is just moving along shore and off the coast. Still watching this little heavier thunderstorm right along I-95 near Scottsmore. That also moving to the east at 30 miles an hour. So it's going to be keeping I-95 slow and go as folks, I think, are still trying to move out of the Speedway. Give another couple hours, I think we'll try to get the track back to green flag racing up in Daytona, if you're watching. There's Scottsmore. Elsewhere, we're still watching some activity again over Geneva and some scattered activity. It will continue to get more scattered during the late afternoon and then start to die out quickly after 6:30 tonight or so. If you join George Waldenberger, he's got to get his show ready to go here in a minute for 6 o'clock news here on Channel 9. But we're going to take you back to regular programming here in just a moment on TV 27 as the threat area continues to shrink in size and move offshore. Thanks to George Waldenberger, usual great job, and Brian Shields coming in, and we will keep you up to date. Rusty McCraney's been working hard on FM 96.5 WDBO with live commentary of the storms as they move through. Still rain on the radar right now. We'll continue to monitor that cell in extreme northeastern Brevard County, but starting to move offshore. Stay tuned to Channel 9 and TV 27. Any additional warnings, tornadic activity, etc., we'll be here to keep you advised. Now we go back to regular programming.